Ballista's targeting least health. Yeah, that's what I had them on. But I guess we might have to put some levels in the ballista so they can at least one-shot the guys with 1 pip of health. This pathetic excuse for houses. It also feels like this is a really, even though that's a really good path for it. Wow, that's a really good. That's just, we're just gonna have heaps of it there, right? Oh. Now we just need a lot of money. I don't want to set these guys onto least health though, because I want them to hit whatever's coming in home. Maybe this guy can be least health. They're probably going to get the progress guy anyway, because they don't actually have much range. Barbed wire. A good ridge up here. Oh, for ballistas? Yeah. Yeah. Not much range, but it's pretty decent. Okay. Kill these these little idiots. Okay. Get him. Nice. Get him. Okay. Okay. Hope for a map that splits at a tile 3. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. We'd have to like really delve into the code to see what happens with the the splits, like what it does to enemy spawn numbers. If I'd leveled it up, it would have killed one of them. Oh, dude, he just threw that under his feet. Oh. So we want to get a bunch around here as well, right? The problem with little guys? So then, yeah, what's the deal with little guys? Or is it better just to leave them here to... So, oh, okay. This map is set to close on itself. If you play a two-way split, it's 50-50 spawn-wise. If it splits, it would be like 33-66 from side to side. It looks spawn points, not confirmed but heard. Yeah. I guess single defense and double defense and triple defense obviously different as well, right? No, it can't close in on itself. It's going to go this way and up, and then something happens. It needed to go one more further and then turn. Yeah, I saw Jobs trying to do Blister only on a three-way start. I think the double defense and triple defense have different spawn numbers to single defense. It just feels like that. You think another ballista? Not a lot of the single dudes are getting through, some of them are. Ah, Oogie's. Is Oogie going to be okay here? He's really slow. I guess the question is, do we want to... Well, the little guys are faster, right? So if we let them just do this, will the little guys work their way to the front? Dude, look, he's chucking it all the way down here. They're like, no, gotta get the armored guys in first. Oh, this is doing okay. I want to take anything, so armor. Yeah, this is nice. This will pick off all the little guys. Hopefully. It's getting some of the little guys. The targeting's pretty bad. We are going to have to push further up for late game spawn, yeah? Or is it fine? Like, if a late game spawner dies to a grenade, all its spawn die to the next one, right? It would, Chromo. You're very astute. You got a science to get science, right? Alright, let's see what happens. I think this gets Oogie, right? Like, Oogie gets to here and just gets destroyed. It's really good if they're too close to each other, because then the spawners. Ooh! Where's your spawners now? Anything with this little canister on it, I'm clicking it. Yeah, look, the little small goblins are getting picked off, right, which is really important. Not so much like, it's okay if a small goblin dies in AoE, or if a small goblin triggers one like these two and they're near each other, but when a small goblin single-handedly just runs in and takes one, that sucks. Right? Man, that guy's launching them. If we add, I was wondering about that, if we hit here. It's not terrible, but it's... And I've got to work out whether I'm being greedy or smart. Because like if Oogie comes through and wipes these up, and then he throws more over there, well, we're not going to do any DPS with it. It's definitely a fun way to play. Well, the other thing too is, yeah, do we just every like get, depending how much they cost, Do we just sort of put some here and put some here, put some here and put some here? I'm thinking that's a yes. This is so satisfying. Is there a maximum that these guys put out though? That's a good spot as well, right? Eventually. They seem to be stacking. Okay. So should we put out another one or make these ones stronger? You like the bend in the northwest corner? It's not a bad bend. Gets dots going as well too, I guess. That's also important. That is true. The further back you put them, the longer they have to stack up. Yeah, but there's things like missiles and beholders, that's true. They're also at a point where you've got to watch, you actually do have to watch your overkill as a thing. Like, you don't want to invest. If you're already doing enough damage, you can over-invest in one. Or you could put another one out and sort of... Sometimes the shared damage is better. Especially since investing 2 up to 50% is a lot cheaper than investing 1 up to 100%. Not that you can get to 100%, but you know what I mean. They got no chance here, though. Are we ready for the Oogie? So, yeah, I wouldn't push up to there, but I think if we keep it, there's a lot of spots there. They do not use mana. Why are we at 0 though? Because I don't have any mana regen. You start at 0, yep. Even if you've got mana regen, you start at 0. And it ticks up at turn 1 onwards. But if you take sorcery to get natural, I guess, mana regen, you also get the sorcery card put in your deck. I don't want that in my deck. Come on, Oogie. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it. People saying it's to do with fire rate 13, fire rate 14, probably level and range. Well, these are the same level, right? So why has one got a 14 and one's got a... Oh, number of tiles you can see on the path. Oh, that's not a thing. Ah, slow shot. Increase maximum poison. That'll work. Range gives us more output. Landmines deal poison damage. Yeah, I want to keep this... I want to keep them locked up. Oh, that's not going to keep them bunched up. Nah, poison going into turn 16. Now, if we want to... Oh, we've got some snipers there. So let's go here for the... I want to get some little ballistas in there to sort of snipey ballistas. No, I was thinking sort of in between where we're going to have the mines so that anyone that walks through after the mine with a little bit of health can get taken out before making it to the next spot. Blanket the whole mountain. They cost more every time you place one. And we're not powering them up. Lists are cheap for now, yeah. But they go up by 10 gold every time you place one. They also do nowhere near like this one's costing about a fifth, a little bit less. They'll probably take 5 ballistas to equal that. 5 of them do not even do anywhere near the damage of 5 of these guys. While we're safe, I'd rather not spend just because we want to spend. I'm going to see what happens, assess where the spots are. All landmines have a crit chance. Poisoned enemies also slows them. Dude, okay, that's going to be really good. Because the front guy that hits a mine gets slowed. So anyone faster walks up to him and then they both hit the next mine. Yeah, definitely more shield damage. Shield is so strong in this game. Hmm. Or they're just going to die straight up. But that's... I think it's a little bit of slow. Not a lot. Maybe as they get stronger, he'll get when the poison stuff goes up. There he goes. Oh, that's so satisfying. Okay, this is good. I like this. They're not even getting close. For now, don't get cocky. Yeah, just ballistas in front as well. It's another option. More money or more poison? I want to go the more money since we're definitely in front. We'll get to the poison. Another split. If there's AoE damage, why not stack them more? That's what we're trying to get the waves to stack a bit better too. Bats. One of the issues with trying to pick off the little guys in here, though, we'll probably get some of them, is that there's so many enemies. Like, there's so many mines and they're running around getting all of them. Yeah, definitely some ballistas around to... But while the wave's sort of dying here or even here, I don't want to put ballistas anywhere. More burn. Let's go more range. What sort of range are we looking at on some of these? Oh, look, he could slide them over there. That's pretty big. Oh, I need to expand both of those as well. The lone bat. He's like, I'm fine. If they were a little bit bigger, you could almost put one there to get that side. And down here. So strong. It's That's nuts. Fun. Nuts. Chance to crit. We'll get another split, boys. They're pretty close to each other too, so they're coming in nice. And they're sort of joining up very close. Need to expand that one. Couple of singles, we could probably get ballistas sort of in here. Who's got the best? 19 right per minute? 18? '18s, yeah. The ridge northeast of my first mine. We have to hit both. Which one? Up here? Or like in there? Anything further up? Oh, more poison damage at the moment. Things like bleed them dry, that like a global's pretty good though. Okay. Yeah, we're trying to get the max haste reduction. As an achievement, you got to get 3 of them. Each of them does 20%, so they'll have 0 haste because they're too scared. They need to tippy toe. The poison now is really slowing these guys down to group them up. That's good. Or killing them flat out. Yeah, it gives Mine Layers a chance to hit them again. I want to check to see what range we get off putting one there. Do it after the turn's over. Oh, I don't have money. Yeah, watch your step. Reduces their haste. Which I'm going to take now. Now. So they've all been expanded. They're all 2 tiles away from that. So you go first. No split. Go clockwise around. No, they sniped a low health guy. Good. Oh, that was a guy with super low health. Yeah, this is a little nuts. I like it. So we've got enough money after this round to see what happens if we put a mine. I think there should get good coverage in here. Hopefully it just sneaks down here. I'm really hungry. This game is... I've missed more meals per day playing this, I think, than any other game I've streamed. Mainly because I can go get a cup of... Normally when I go have a tea break, I grab a cup of tea, like put the kettle on to boil, get a couple slices of bread, chuck some cheese on it, or if we got any sort of leftover dinner meat, put that on it. And I sort of like take a couple big bites, head off to the bathroom, come back, finish off the sandwich, or make the tea, all the rest, and just scoff it down and come sit down. I go make tea now when the waves are taking too long. And then come back, sit down again. So I never run out of tea, which is good. I want that. Okay. But yeah, I've not been eating, and this is Panz get angry. That's a 25er. Let's go. Encampment? Oh, we'll get another one there somewhere. So which one are we up to? We did that one, that one, that one. I should go get food then. Go get food, Panz, but I want to watch. While the mines are destroying, I'm just gonna get more mines. We'll make them stronger. Oh, look at the vampires. Yeah, this dude's just hoiking them. The Olympic constituent in discus is up there, just doing practice. So we did that one, so it's this one now. Are these ones joining up all right? Their haste is lowered. They get very little haste. Oh, sweet potato. Oh, there's a carrot. Oh, sweet potato. I'm not a fan of sweet potato. Carrots, right? Oh, a nice little thing of lamb and roast veggies. I've left overnight. Be nice if they show the range before you replace. Yeah, you do get 100% refund. So if you place it between turns and you don't like it, you can pull it up at no cost. Okay, I probably need to like take a dive and lose this run, otherwise the encampment's gonna get nerfed. They're getting to there. Okay, so I think all pathways are even split from here-ish. These two are joining up together. Fairly close. This one's taking a bit longer because it's all the way around. Oh, bats. Nice. Yeah, we got a bit of money. We should use it somewhere. It's only a 23er. Oh, because it doesn't quite get there. That's alright. Oh, we got an Oogie. Three-way split tile some? Nah, I'm fine keeping it all the way down here. $26. Yeah, the further you push them up, the more mines they're laying now that are definitely not hitting anything. Look at him go. What's funny is he's going to drop some spawns and they're going to hit a mine in front of his face. Oh, where's your friends that you were carrying? Oh man, imagine getting universities with this run. That would have been the play, right? We should have universities in this run. Because look what's happening now. Like we're running out of cards. You guys want to take mana? I can't take mana. Well, we probably can. I don't want to take another weapon. Okay, we're gonna have to take something that gives us mana, otherwise our ballistas aren't gonna get to do anything. Yeah, time for mana siphons. With 0 mana? Yeah, but it's not like her ballistas are really doing that much. They still gain experience. Or is that bug fixed? Nope, they gain experience for shooting blanks. Okay. Oh, increase max burn. That's a good one. Oh, actually, concealment's a good one. Let's get that crit up. Let's spend some monies. Let's... Although I probably should look at getting, oops, mana siphon. Hey, gameplay bully. How you doing? Yeah, you're using canvas like this. I've found most of the towers, you need to get them up to like even early game, you want to get them up to like level 10, 15 early, and then keep their levels up. And in this case, I'm keeping their damage equal because you can't really target. But you could have a big section up front, which is mostly shield damage. Also, their rate of fire, I was told, is based on their range, how many tiles are in their roadmap. So you can use that to your advantage as well. We got really lucky with this map, and I'm okay with that. Oh, there's some more haste reduction. I think we've taken 2 of those, right? 1 more for the achievement. What's there? 1, 2. Oh, we got another split. Tee-hee. I still don't have mana for my ballistas. Oh well. Ha 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 ha. Maniacal laugh. Do I ever replace the turret down here for a mine? Maybe. I'll let him sit there. Need to give like you got to give the ballista workers like training options. Look at this. Look, bang, bang, boom, dead. More shield damage. Okay. Oh. Okay, so they should all converge pretty close together there. We get more good RPM mines on the middle one. Maybe. They're only at +1 range though. So they're probably still pretty good though. I think that's where we go next if we put more down. I thought the enemies would be on screen. Sorry, guys. Do I feel it's really map dependent though? A little bit. Like this is a really good map for it. You're looking for these corners. Or possibly these sort of S-bends with some height. We didn't get our first split till fairly late, which is really good. And then we've been able to keep splits sort of evenly spaced so they converge. You want the groups to really converge in together. Single file bad. Hey, we could take mana siphons and get our ballistas back online. But I think getting things like more burn per second is probably burn per second stronger going into wave 30. Last map would have been God tier. I don't know, because there's not much convergence, right? That was all single file. But we did have the distance. Do I even need the ballistas? No. But, you know, in terms of something doing something, universities would have been good, except we don't have any university spot. Oh, we do. We've got one now. We really need to use my ballista to slow them, clump them up. Does it look like we need to slow them clump up? Like, look, they're clumping up. We also have poison slow, so when one of them hits a mine, it slows down. So they're kind of clumping themselves up by getting blown up. Yeah, by trying to keep the splits equidistant apart from the main split, that's going to be the biggest help. I think that one there, like see how that one, the poison slowed this one down, it let the one behind him catch up? That's doing the most work. Like yeah, they're getting destroyed. These ones here too, they're throwing some, but the majority of it's coming from here. Like they're just not getting anywhere. Increase max bleed per second. Mana bolts 2. More or stronger? That's only a 17. That's an 18. 17. I just don't think we're going to get the value out of it. Between the lower paths. That's a 23. That's a 24. Come here. These guys haven't hit anything forever. Oh. Burning enemies burn faster based on how much slow they have. Why can't I lever the mines back despite the fact nothing is getting there? Doesn't work in every tower defense game, but usually in a lot of them. Because things cost more to elevate even higher, if stuff's going to get through, you don't want to get through to really weak things, right? And you definitely don't want to be overkilling with the front tower so much that like you've overinvested. And it's just absolutely dominates stuff until you get so much bulk that it gets past. You know, especially when, and usually that's avoided in games with like AoE units, but then what happens when you've got spawners? you kill a spawner and it drops stuff. And this game's got like 3-tier spawn. Like Oogie, the final boss, will spawn 3 different enemies: portals, beholders, and Eye of Beholder. It'll also spawn a 4th one, but that's just a singular. Right? So it's dropping a portal. The portal will drop beholders. The beholders will drop eyes. So there's 4 chains deep. So you need to have defensive further back. Yeah, they haven't gotten very far in a while. However, the game changes a lot after, like, at wave 30 and wave 35. I still don't think they're going to get very far. I think these are going to absolutely, like, destroy. Come on, Slowpoke. I'm gonna make it. Oh, we've got another achievement to get too. Where is it? We need to get the Haste card. I guess we take Frostbolts. Because if we take Frostbolts, we get Frostbolts 2, and then that chain ends. I don't think I got the Fortitude achievement yet. What was it called? Speed limit. No, I haven't gotten it yet. Fun fact, GTA 5 prices started dropping on some Steam regions. Last time this happened, RDR 2 was announced. Or maybe they're going to announce the re-release of GTA 5. The re-release of GTA 5. It is looking like pots of 3 is the most you can get. NASA has announced the next development of the next GTA, GTA 6, which is actually like GTA 16 or something, probably 26. Oh, look at that explosion, that was so good. Dudes fired their rockets into the mortars in front of them. Oh, the rocket from the guy at the back came through and took out these guys. That's so cool. Where's my encampment one? Attacks against bleeding enemies have crit. More splits. Are they still stacked though? Okay. It's just visual. Cool. Now that path, just even though it's only 1 tile extra, it's just way longer. I have 15k? Yeah, I do. End the round, you can see some of the 6-7 stacks. Alright, cool. Oh, I guess you can count the dots, right? Since the models are overlapping. You don't look at try to look at the clovers, just look at the fuses, I guess. You agree with more camps? You don't want stronger camps? There you go. ¿Por qué no los dos? I guess. We got an Oogie coming. I'll pop there. Where's my other thing I need for haste? Come on, game. I've got one more haster I need to, like, remove their haste. And the game's like, no, Panz. No. Too much fun for you. There's Oogie. I'm not building the siphons. I'm just taking it so I don't get offered it again. Does the Mine Layer Tower benefit from height like other towers do? Yes, but more so. Because range means they can hit more path, and path is equated to their rate of fire. So not only do they get a damage boost, but that vision actually, you know... Now, you could argue that any other tower with more range can hit more enemies, but they don't really hit that many more enemies. They might be able to lean over and get a couple shots in somewhere else. And they might get a slightly longer, time down a long path. But it doesn't seem as proportional. There we go, Oogie. Boom. Boom. Oh, because he's slow, all these things are catching up behind him. So glad they cleaned up the user interface. Oh, wait. Little dude's like, I'm not going to be the last to die. He got 20% haste. He's just going to... He's going to drop some mines and they're going to blow up in his face. Oh, man, Oogie, that was terrible. Oh, there's the concealment. Yeah, okay, one more. That leads on to... Watch your step. Achievement unlocked. Speed limit. I'll take monster studies. Huh. I mean... Ballistas can deal 1 damage to health, I guess. No one cared. No one cares. This is where university investment, especially for the crits, would have been good. But I wanted to make sure we had hit that achievement. And I didn't think they'd be this powerful. $45, final round. Can't be as effective in 2 and 3 lane event. It depends how much the early path wraps around, I think. I almost want to try it. This one was fairly efficient to get going. it could potentially be the it's definitely been the easiest from start to finish. Most cost effective, most coverage. Almost want to try a triple defense with that afterward, like next. Oh, I didn't see the triple split there. That's nice. This is like, just do it. Boom. Frostbolt's 2. Take it out of the pool. I'm just waiting this out. It's much faster too than the previous maps because we're not so far away. We're letting them grouping up and just getting blowed up. It's good. Do some ice cream. There we go. It's so dense. Let's go join in the action. Poison slow, huge effect, like slows up and everything else slows down, and so the fast runners just run up behind it. The fact that it's sliding more into the pack, so anything that has a spawner, the spawner will come through fast, and like that one got set off by missiles from the rocket dude. I'm a rock fan. Look at that. The encampment's strong. Wow. So one of the reasons it is this strong is that we've taken all the cards in it. So it's not going to be this strong using it in your backline in a regular run, because you're not going to be able to get all the plus this, plus it. Like we've got plus 8 health, plus armor, plus 8 shield, 30 crit, the 3 range. It's got double, so 50% in bleed, burn, and poison. If we push broadhead bolts far enough, we could get the +1 damage to all towers. They're beholder eyes. Yeah. This guy. eyes are just getting destroyed in front of him. Right before his eyes. Oh, you know how you saw the portal in the monster book quiz run? It's not the portal at the end of the run. There's an enemy portal that when it runs out of shield, it spits out beholders, and then when the beholders die, they spit out their eyes, I guess. It destroyed this dude and everything inside it. Like, he's like, I'm making it. I'm making it. They're clearing a path. Oof. Haste, hurry. They've got no haste. Get wrecked, birds. Oh. Dude, this guy's just like lobbing something into here in the middle of the pack. With this build perspective, it takes 2/3 of the map for enemies to make it to your kill zone, then they make another 1/6 of the map after. Yeah, that's being generous to them. And the last map, it took half the map for them to get to me, and a quarter. Oh man, that one was painful. Yeah, like if this had only sort of done this, and then started splitting off here, we just would have had more encampments in here. But it would have taken longer. I think this split's kind of worked out. That's the furthest, which isn't too far. The other thing, like, these ones here go out here too, so they could be... Oh, advanced ballistics. I think that's what we actually want, and that could lead to more damage for everything, right? I'm just going to hit that because I don't care. We could speed things up by putting some stuff up here, but I don't want to. I do want to. But I'm not going... Well... Should we? Should we put some stuff up there, chat? We break the curse of putting stuff up there. We'll put some stuff up there. Might unclump things. That's a good point. See, that's where you need someone sensible in chat to say no. Stay the course. Stay the course. Well, thanks for keeping an eye on me and stopping me from doing something dumb. I appreciate it. Thank you. We could have lost just then. It would have been all my fault. Okay, here are the portals. Okay, hang on, where's the portal gone? They look like they're moving faster. They're supposed to be hasted though. Or de-hasted. I don't know. But these portals, yeah, they spawn beholders when they run out of... I don't know if it's just when they run out of armor or if when they run out of shield as well. I think we broke the game. Like, something happened. The game was like, nah, I'm done, Panz. Yep. Cheesing idiot. The game's like trying to tell me something. I don't want to take any of these. Mana bolts too. I'll take a heavy shaft. Not that I need one. Yeah, where's the music? Quit to menu? No. It's official, broke game. Oh, why is that not? Oh, okay, they're the rockets that the killbots and the other dudes shoot when they die. These guys. It's an ASMR stream. You want me to rub my beard on the microphone? That's it, that's all I can do. Unless you guys start paying up good money, and then maybe I can like get a Sharpie and write your name on my forehead. Jump in the hot tub. Beard sounds like mine's exploding. Blows your mind, doesn't it? I think the music guy just said no. He's like, no, not doing it. That's weird. You've never experienced a Unity game having weird edge cases. Especially not one that uses majority of in-engine features. Probably one of the most noticeable thing with pre-made engine games is, and I think this sort of shows it, when you get the same sound happen because the same thing happened. Usually like guns getting shot or enemies attacking. And when you have multiples of them, it just seems to be louder. And the reason is because it's playing the same sound at the same time twice or 3 times or 4 times. That does increase the amplitude of the that sound frequency, so it gets louder. when, and I guess in reality that would be happen to some extent, but usually even if you had multiple things happen at the same time, it doesn't really work like that with sound from distance, and it shouldn't work in game. Like if you have an explosion happen here, you should get an explosion sound. If you have 2 explosions happen here, yeah, maybe 2 explosion sounds, but not 2, like, not with any sort of volume, amplitude, I don't know what the word is for it. And definitely a max sort of check of when you've got multiples happening within a same time frame of how often the sounds go off, so that you don't break the sound. Layering, yeah. And most sort of pre-built engine stuff, and this is definitely happens in some bigger games as well, but it's more often from studios that are using the engine with sort of hobbyist to maybe amateur coding experience. They need to add an attenuation cap, something sounds like this. Yeah. And that's definitely just something that would have to be done at the core Unity level. Something's also happening where we're having guys explode. I think maybe they're taking dot, like maybe that's the dot just ticking on them, and it's obviously ticking at the same time because they're getting hit with explosion. I don't know. When too many sounds happen, your computer lags. It's because the sounds haven't been loaded efficiently, so they're probably loading the sound file every time they play it. All towers gain +1 damage to health. That's come from, it's monster studies, so even though it's come from the blisters, it applies to all towers, which is generally better if you've got more, like if you've got a variety of towers, you're like, oh, it's going to hit all the towers. So it's a nice little buff, but it doesn't do that much. The fact we're only hearing gold sounds for some of the explosion and the game is lagging. I don't know if the game's lagging. It's sort of responding really well. I'd say it's just the sound engine that's part of one of the things about having a good, instead of having a solid framework, having a good loosely coupled engine system. When one part dies, like in this case, the sound system, it doesn't affect the rest of the game. Only happens when a massive blast, probably the particle generator then. I'd say that that's more likely that because we've got a particle generation happening on death, that's lagging out the visual side of the internal engine. And before putting 2-0 streak in the title, well, I had a loss in between, if not 2 or 3, while we were checking out how encampment works. Because I hadn't used the encampment before. Particles on explosion and particles on death, yeah. On damage and death, because you get the coin one as well. So what's happening with these guys, they're hitting like the tower's throwing a landmine under these guys. It's taking all their shield, which is then causing them to spawn. Oh, also because they're spawning. Okay, so I don't know if this would be avoidable in this type of game, but it could be the way that the portals are spawning beholders, which is depending on how they're having the spawners call the whether they're creating from a new prefab or I doubt, just based on the way the game's been put together, I doubt they're using object pooling. So it's probably destroying and loading each enemy as it gets summoned and killed. I have 40k gold. Yeah, I should use it. We're struggling. Wait. Man, Bork, I'd give you a gift sub, but it seems that you've already received one. We'll do it while we wait for them to show up. So object pooling is when you preload X amount of units, right? So that way, which works really good in shmups and bullet hells and tower defenses, because if you preload the enemies like while the waves are happening, what you do is you put them off screen, like way off screen or behind layers, and you have them idling, so they're not doing anything. They're not being drawn. Their AI is not being calculated. You don't have to move them. You don't have to animate them. But that way, if you have spawners that go, okay, I need 3 of these units, you don't have to load them into the level. You take them from the pool, which is why it's called object pooling, right? And you just move them to the location, which is nothing. It's just a positioning thing, and you make them live. And if you don't do that, you have to spawn them in, which is kind of like manually, that the game then goes, okay, let's create an object, let's get the asset pack, for visual, for any animation we need to get going, for any sounds they're making, and let's put them in. And if you have to do a lot of that, that can cause a little bit of chunking. And it feels like that's what's happening when we're getting, because the portals, where are they? These guys, right? Because they're grouping up, because you can see they're slower, and because I've got the waves kind of all equidistant, or as equidistant as I can from the main road, they're all coming in together. So when they get a mine thrown under them, right, they all lose their shield and they all spawn beholders. So that could be, upwards of a dozen, maybe more times that enemies, we're having to load all these assets into the screen, into the scene. And then the beholders are dying and they're summoning their eyes. Yeah, so where that gap is, Rio, is that there's a difference between having like that prior knowledge. Like I've a very, very long history of software and coding and games, and I'm a software engineer by trade. So instead of just being able to do things, it's more about that understanding about how the higher level or the lower level system works. And of course being able to do the code stuff. And that's where I think it's tough, because for small teams, especially these guys that put together a game, had a bit of fun with it, and it's taken off, it's a bit unfair to pick on all the stuff. We still do anyway, because we're the players. Well, thanks for gifting us up, Ultimate Rio. Welcome, Ultimate Rio. If you've, it really depends on the team and what sort of project you've got going, and if it could be worth it. But definitely benefits in having having a project looked over by an engineer so they can sort of, or especially if you're noticing any issues, they can sort of give some insight on how to fix little things that even people with like huge experience in coding might not know. Appreciate it, dude. We got more money to spend. Last one coming in. Comes down to cost though, like getting someone to take time with you on your code can be costly. Do we unleash the ballistas? No, they don't deserve it. Oh. Where's Oogie though? I wish we had Oogie music. Here he is. It depends on the game too. Does it matter if this is the worst case, we get little bits of frame outs? Probably not. Cuphead uses object pooling very well, so that in the fights the enemy projectiles can be just brought in and out live with as little interruption as possible to the player. Really important because high precision gameplay required. Yeah. Shmups, you know, shoot 'em up. They're bullet hell type stuff. You definitely don't want any sort of hiccups or anything then. Oh, hello, Oogie. He's doing all right. Question is, will he be the last to die? Because I mean, there's these guys, but oh, he's going down. He just took a huge hit. Oh, chonk, ka-chonk, 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 ka-chonk. Do I get a cart? Can I get treasure chest for him if the wave's still going? I guess not. Whew. Achievement unlocked. Watch your step. That was nuts. Have we got negative damage being recorded here? We went around the integer limit. Numbers come in a maximum value. And then if you go one above that, you go to negative that and then start going towards 0. Have I done the no ballistas? No, but I think this one would be an option for it. Yeah, it's like overflow. So on a shortened scale, because I can't remember what the number is off the top of my head, but it's quite large. Imagine if when you count it to 10, the next time you pick up something, you go negative 10. And then you count towards 0, and you just keep looping around like that. That's kind of like what happens. There was a patch note where overkill was supposed to be removed from the stats. Maybe. There was also one where prevention of regen was going to be added to it as well. I don't know how that one works. That one was fun though. You can zoom out and move around now as well after the screen comes up, which is really good. I wish there was a hide user interface option right now though. because I would have liked to taken a couple screenshots of the previous maps. They only ever made it to sort of here. You know, we had all this not used. Oh, there is a hide. Oh, yeah, there is. Hey, there we go. Oh, reading's hard, Panz. Walk, you're on fire, man. You can't just use only encampments. Well, someone was saying that, like with the no ballistas, you should have to use other towers. It's like, why? Why can't you just use one tower? Which also, funnily enough, if you do just ballistas first, you only get the just ballistas achievement. You have to do the ballistas and one other tower one by one. However, if you do, like, let's say we didn't need to build ballistas, we just put out an encampment and we won, we would also get the no ballistas and this achievement. This probably wouldn't work on 2 or 3-way maps unless God TRNG. One of the things with the 3-way maps, and I agree, but because you've got 3 waves at the start, it's very easy to get that corner hooked up, so you get some overlap.